Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to arrange our mulberry hydrangea arrangement, and this is the premium sized. I'm arranging it in our Nayland vase, but it also really suits the Ockold or something like an Alton, something with a narrower neck. And this is a real rich colour, celebrating all of those colours of autumn. Actually kind of matches what I'm wearing. But this is the Kimi Fuga stem, and it's got kind of two separate branches to it that kind of, you've got one shorter and one longer, which is just perfect, kind of like asymmetric, already done for you. And you don't need a lot of these because it's so abundant in leaves. Just a couple of stems can make all the difference. So I'm actually going to leave one of them at full height, and then the other one I'm going to bend down. Not too much, about 1.5 inches, I'd say that is, to just kind of peep over to the other side a little bit. But you can really start to see how you wouldn't need many if you were just using these, because they do look so effective. I might bend this one down a tiny touch. Just feels ever so slightly too tall. There we go. And then next up, I'm going to get in our dried limonium stem, and this works so perfectly with something like this plum Kimi Fuga. The colour tones of this it's like a really nice contrast against this foliage. Don't know if the camera will be able to pick it up too well, but it's got these tiny tips on the ends that are ever so slightly lighter and brighter, and it just works really nicely in kind of breaking up the density of that colour. So just taking a couple of seconds to bend out these little side shoots like so. And then I'm going to be bending this down about there. So pretty much just over half of the entire stem, and then popping that kind of in the middle and letting it splay out to the sides so that you're getting more kind of base with foliage, but it's not all just solid one colour. Now I'm actually going to pop in our two mulberry hydrangeas in next. These stems are incredibly realistic. I've yet to find anything better. Not only do they look realistic, but they actually feel and sound it. It is like they've been perfectly dried and then preserved and picked. So beautiful. And obviously they work even better with this kind of foliage, all the colour tones and everything. Now the key when we're just arranging our focal flowers is to make sure that they kind of both get enough space that they deserve, but whilst also not feeling too kind of structured, or that they're in line with each other. So the way I do that is I have one kind of just sitting on the rim of the vase, and then I have the other one higher up, almost facing the other way. I'm going to leave that at full height for a sec and see how I feel. I've not actually arranged this in this vase yet, so sometimes it's a little bit of trial and error, but that feels about right. Leaving that one at full height and letting it kind of go off to that direction while this one is coming towards you and leaning over. It just suddenly feels a bit more in keeping and far more natural. And then as our filler flowers for these stems, it works so well to have this burnet stem, which is kind of like a pinky mauve stem, and these are so realistic. I love working with these in fresh flowers, but they wilt ever so quickly. And then one of the dried poppies as well, just to break everything up with the hydrangeas and just kind of bring in a different colour tone. So with the burnet, you get loads of lovely little heads on this. So this is a brand new one. So I'm just gonna wiggle out those stems a little bit, because the last thing we want them to do is to kind of look clumped. We want them to feel light, airy, and you'll notice like they move so much nicer when they've all got a little bit of space, and you'll get much more impact in your vase for it. Full height is going to be too tall. So I'm just going to bring it down a couple of inches and put it right in the middle. I'll turn this around in a sec for you. And just that slightly lighter burgundy, pinky tone, whatever we want to call it, just breaks everything up really nicely and just gives a slightly different texture. And then with the poppy head, again, these are super straight. I just want to give them as much volume as possible, something like that. Going to be too tall, don't want it to compete with the burnet. I'm just going to pop that through the front and then kind of just let the leaves nestle in and around it. And then that's kind of it. I'm just going to come round and stand to where you are so I can see how it looks from afar, because sometimes it is a bit difficult when I'm working on top of it. But overall, generally speaking, that looks kind of okay. I'm just going to bring that in a little bit there. Just felt a little bit exaggerated to that side. And I'll pop it over there so that you can see it with a kind of a plain screen behind you. Which I sometimes just feels like helps a little bit. I'll move out of your way in a sec. Just something like that. Really simple, really effective way of enjoying those kind of warming, rich tones into your home this autumn. So if you give this arrangement a go, I would love to see it in your homes, and I hope to see you again soon.